Good morning.
Good morning, lovelies.
Hello. Hi. Welcome to everyone who has joined us. We are now I'm gonna say Mike Jimmy, and I'm gonna let Mike Jimmy give us his full name.
So, I am Mike Jimmy de Bruin from the Netherlands, and the Lortia is just a nickname that I put in my Facebook because a lot of people know me as such.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm an artist from the Netherlands. I draw. I am the main artist for Love and Cora. I am the creator of the publishing house Faeries and Ents, and I do a ton of stuff. And currently, I'm just getting used to my quills again because I haven't inked in a long time.
So I'm gonna take you through some spotlighting types interview Q&A to get to know Mike Jimmy a little better for myself and for everyone that's watching. And so one of the we had, let's see, yeah. So if you're watching, we had a couple people and then they dropped off, but we'll get more people coming out. Um, so one of my first questions, and I don't know if this is gonna, I would imagine this applies no matter where you are in the world, but Coke or Pepsi, Mike?
Neither. First choice.
Yay. Okay. So what is your go-to beverage of choice?
Oh no, no. My
Have?
my go-to beverage is coffee, but when it comes
Ooh,
to
okay.
colas, I like First Choice Cola, which is a brand in the Netherlands.
Oh, I see. So, yeah, so you just brought up something so funny to me. Like for me here, I honestly, my answer to this is like, which one's diet? Which one do you have? Because I really don't care. I really don't care otherwise. I mean, it just doesn't matter much. My next question for you is what was your favorite toy as a kid, as a child, and why?
Ooh, my favorite toy.
Ooh,
That was definitely my Game Boy, I suppose. When
okay.
because while I wasn't exactly a lonely child as a kid, yeah, I don't know. I just played a lot on that thing, and I had all versions at some point. I got my Game Boy really late, when it comes to when they came out and everything, but I played the shit out of those, and I remember playing a lot of those games fondly.
What game in particular was there one?
Definitely the Mega Man games. They were, um, they were so goddamn hard, but I just could not put them down. Oh
What
my
was the
god.
premise of those games? Like, just I don't know the game you're talking about. Was it a fighting game, a puzzle type game? What was the theme of it?
Um, Mega Man is a series of platform games
Oh, okay.
like Mario, so it's jump and shooting,
Oh,
and the especially the Game Boy games are notorious for how hard they are, and they are already extremely hard on NES. So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
was trying
somehow
to.
managed to beat the game.
I huh?
I somehow managed to beat that game as a kid, and I've never been able to finish any Mega Man games since then.
Oh, really?
So I am very impressed with younger me.
Well, I think there's something to that. I think a lot of people talk about the uh, different ability we have with flexibility. So the next question I'm going to ask you, and I think this one's
Mhm.
going to be pretty fun to ask you. If you could only pick one spirit animal or creature, what would it be and why?
Um, that answer is always owls. I love owls.
Oh, okay, nice. Um, and there's really kind of just made. I mean, how many are there? A bunch of different kinds of owls. Is there one in particular? Because don't they
Um,
have white, snow white kind of owls? I'm just curious.
I am a really big fan of the very camouflaged wood owls. You
Okay.
know that you literally can't see
Mhm.
um, until someone either points it out to you or um, they suddenly fly away or you hear them.
Right.
Especially the ones where like there's at some point this woodpecker on an image trying to pack into a bunch of wood and you see an owl head turned around like could you fucking not.
Right. Okay, so now I that takes care of an animal, but is there a mythical creature? And I'm asking you particularly because of the life on Korra and some of the other works and creations of yours. Is there a creature, some kind of mythical type creature that you really enjoy, like, or that you would say would totally be you? Is there something in that category?
um no, I don't think so.
Okay.
These are also kind of things that I don't really think about in the first place,
Oh,
so
I know. That's why they're on my show. Why do you think they're on the questions I ask people?
fair enough.
Okay, so my next question for you is what is your go-to treat when you go to the movies? The one like that treat thing that you like to have.
Well, being from the Netherlands, there's not many options, so it's usually just sweet popcorn
Ooh, okay.
because, like Americans, we don't have butter on our popcorn, which
Really?
it sounds awesome, but yeah, I've never had that.
That makes no sense to me. I don't know how anybody does that because I laughingly joke about how my choice is I like a little bit of popcorn with my butter. That's my that's
Ah,
my
there you go.
yeah, I'm not gonna come on yet with my stuff yet. We're still oh, it automatically added it. Oh, well, that's not what I wanted. And I'm in the stream. Thank you, StreamYard, for being a pain in my tuchus. I don't know if this is gonna cross over like with where you are, but is there mayonnaise versus Miracle Whip? Does that exist in your world?
No, but then
He's like,
we
what?
don't have Miracle Whip. However,
Oh my god, he knows
there
what I'm talking about.
we like Dutch people have the best mayonnaise hands down. So,
Oh, all right. Okay.
um,
I will
yeah,
totally take your word for that.
um, our local mayonnaise is actually one of the best. So,
Okay.
but personally, I'm not like a lot of American stuff, like well, that got flown over from Europe, like peanut butter and no, actually, um, peanut butter was invented by Americans, brought over to France. They adjusted it, and that is where Calvé peanut butter came from. But our peanut butter has a lot more flavor than American one does. It's also a lot less smooth.
Okay. Because that's funny that you brought up peanut butter, and I hadn't even gotten there yet. Let me go back to my little list here because the next one I have is peanut butter, creamy or chunky. So
Creamy.
it's not as smooth, but is there any chunky at all? Like, is that a thing there?
Yeah, no, but like we add a lot of salt and some oils to it to make the flavor of the peanuts come out a lot more than American peanut butter.
Right.
So, um, but yeah, smooth any day. I don't want to chew on my peanuts.
Yeah, I 100% am the same way when we're talking about like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich type of thing. Do you guys do that there? Is PB and J normal for y'all? Peanut butter and jelly?
No, not really.
Okay,
Because yeah, again, like our peanut butter is so much more flavorful
right.
that you can just have plain peanut butter and it feels like it tastes perfect.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I like peanut butter by itself too. 100% agree to that what you just described. Because I'll eat it right. I'll eat it by itself as its own thing. I don't have to have it on something. Um,
Yeah,
and then The only time, and I'll share this with you, the only time I really want chunky peanut butter is if I'm going to make cookies. Because
Yeah.
when I make peanut butter cookies, I like the peanuts in there. I want those in there. So we have people watching. We see you. Leave us a question or a comment if you'd like. Because my next question for Mike Jimmy is, what is the one thing, no matter what, you can't go a whole day without?
Coffee. Always
Coffee.
coffee.
Okay. All right. I know. I was like, I haven't. That's pretty clearly mine too. I'm pretty sure coffee is one. Yeah. I do. I did start drinking less coffee, and I usually switch to tea somewhere in the middle of the day. Oh, who is here watching? Marv V. Hello, Marv.
Hey.
Hi. Marv says, hello, how are you today? So we're doing great so far. So we've got the coffee thing. Now, this last part, now I didn't tell you this, I forgot about this part, but this portion of these little quick warm-up questions are what I call spitlights. They're the way we kind of just warm you up to get to know you. The last one in this segment is what always makes you smile, no matter what mood you're in, even if you're in a dark mood. Mike, what is it that'll make you smile?
Honestly, a good joke. Just,
Ooh.
um,
So laughing. So getting
yeah.
Marvy says coffee and music are his things. He I think that's his answer to the prior question, the one about what you got, like what you can't go your whole day without. He said coffee and music. So tell me a joke. Do you have a go-to joke that you always bring out when you're with your buds or friends?
No, because I'm not a funny guy.
What?
People don't think like I have a horrible way of telling jokes. I suck at it. I I don't know any jokes, and the ones that I know, I tell horribly. So
You probably tell dad jokes. Do you know what that means? I know. I don't. Do you have that expression?
Yeah, no. I know dad jokes. It's just
Okay.
that
That's
like
funny.
I'll do one-liners maybe, but that's about it.
Okay.
Necrophilia, crack open a cold one, stuff like
Well,
that.
so do you know how to make 5 pounds of fat look good?
Yeah, put a bra in it. I saw you make
Put
that
in
one a
the
couple of days ago.
Oh, see, you already know this one. That's
Yeah.
it's not even 7:30 yet. I've already told him a joke twice. Now I'm getting, what is that reputation when someone tells the same joke all the time? Okay, so I'm going to switch to the next round of questions that I have. These are a little beefier, they're a little meatier. They've got way more substance. But we're gonna take another layer off of Mike Jimmy and get to know him. So for you, if heaven does exist, Mike, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive there at the pearly gates?
Nothing, just let me pass on through.
Woo!
Or how the hell did you get up here?
Okay. Nice. And then do you have a burning question? What's the one thing you want to ask? If you got up there and you could, what's the one thing you'd ask?
Why would you allow bone cancer in children?
Yeah. Right? Like, I think a lot of us kind of want to know, like, why is it that the innocent, and I guess I say innocent versus children, because there's some people I've known, adults, that I'm like, what? This person is like the last person in the world that deserves anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
oh dear.
Yeah, that reaction is pretty common. So let's see. Marv says, it looks like cliche, but comics. This is probably what makes him smile every day. Got one today from a supermarket, and the artwork is so beautiful that I actually smiled and had to have it. Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, when I got Life on Cora, Mike Jimmy knows very well how happy I was. I had to go taking pictures, and then he says, you got to go back. I don't know what that's about. You got to go back. What were we saying? Oh, the
Uh,
heaven. Oh, what God might say to him in heaven's gates. Oh, I'm like, what does he mean? Okay,
I'm not
so
done yet. Let me
did
go
you
back.
answer? Did you answer this question about? Oh, you already did. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, now this one's a little tough, and some people don't like answering it. But if you could damn a single person to hell, who would that be? And it doesn't have to be an actual person, but maybe a type of person. Who would you damn to hell if that power was something you had, and why?
Narcissist.
Oh. Wow. You're the first person to give that answer, and I 100% approve this message.
Yep, I had to
Oh my
deal with him
God.
all my life, and fuck him so hard.
Well, you know what? Confidence is rightly so warranted for some people and for certain people. And having confidence is sexy. I think it's beautiful. I think it's good. I think it's wonderful. But I think that narcissism, the way I know you're thinking of it, that's something, man. It's hard. It's hard to
Self
deal
love
with
is one thing.
narcissists.
Like, self love is one thing, and
Right.
you should love yourself. You should care about yourself, and I will always advocate for that. However, loving yourself for the sake of bringing down others and not being able to see your own flaws because of it, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing with even if you're narcissistic or even if you're egotistical, and Crimson Owl is here. Crimson Owl comment,
Hey,
what's up? Um, the bringing someone else down or using it to bring someone else down is the part of it that is the worst for me. That's the one that's the worst for me. The next question on here, and you do a lot, okay? I know you write. I know you obviously you can sketch. Clearly, we can ink. I mean, look at what he's doing here, people. We haven't even talked about the artwork on the screen yet. But what's the one thing? Is there something that is so taboo to you that you'd never use it in your creative works? There's no way you're putting it on anything in your books.
plenty. Um,
Okay. What's your biggest
and
pet peeve you see in books or comics that you're never putting in yours?
that's a good one. Um, I think my biggest pet peeve is violence for the sake of violence in there. Like, you have to have action, otherwise it doesn't feel complete. Like, no, it could be just as complete without it. You just completely like don't know how to write a proper scene in that case.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of other things along that line. Not everything has to um, go down the standard lines. Like, and uh, I've read true fantasies that had pretty much no action in them whatsoever, and honestly, you just keep on reading because the characters are so interesting compared to um, ones where you can read it's like reading a D&D session with a bunch of murder hobos in the party, you know,
Yeah.
and every 5 minutes it's just the DM going, okay, guys, what do we do next? And everyone is like, pillage,
Well, violence.
and
It's much like TNA. It's kind of one of those attention grabbing, which it has its place in a story depending on the subject matter. But I feel like it's simply used to gather attention that you're too lazy to get with quality.
yeah, pretty much.
So Marvin and Crimson Owl are chatting with each other, which is cool. And then Marv says, "I'll do whatever I want in my story." I
And you
don't care
should.
what
Don't get me wrong. You should. But
Right. We're talking
that
about
does.
Jimmy's work.
Yeah,
You,
no. Like,
I
I
don't
will
care what others
never.
think. I won't preach, but I'll say what the characters want to say. Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And
and
and I know Mike Jimmy knows this because he's watched me paint. Marv's watched me paint. That's how I paint. That's why
yeah,
sequential art for me, and you both, I know Mike Jimmy knows this. I got nothing against sequential art. Nothing against it. But as an artist, in the way that I've been so far, but I'm also thinking outside the box. You guys know this. I am that what he just said is why my painting or my art is what it is, because I don't want anything to do with even a story telling me what the art is. But then I learned my lesson when I did the haikus. But this isn't about me. So I'm going to move on. Okay. What are 3 things that you want your friends to say about you if they were to describe you? The 3 things that you hope you put out there that a friend is going to say about you.
kind, reliable, and well, yeah, pretty much those two. You can fill in the third one for yourself, and usually, like I pretty much fit that bill for as much as I try. So, you know,
I can't tell you for, for you for sure if you believe that. I think you do. I do know for a fucking fact it's true for me as your friend. 100 fucking percent. And those are the first F bombs I've dropped, people. I want y'all to know. This just conveys how important it is, or how high five I am to what he just said. Because kindness and reliability, oh yeah. You have that in spades. There's a message here from Christian. He says, "Hey Doris." So going back to the questions, okay. So this is first. I'm going to throw up, and I know you're busy. You don't need to look at the screen. I don't even know if you can.
I
Here.
can see the screen. Yeah.
Okay, good. So here's a quote by the late Van Bates, who passed away in April, and it says, "Fuck being average. I'm a goddamn savage." So my question to you, looking at that quote and what it says, is what is that thing that you like to do or be that's the most, that's going to set you apart so that you're doing something different and not so average? Or what do you do that the average Joe's not doing?
Um, Nothing. I'm like I'm just putting in the work that I have to in order to get where I want to go, and I guess the average Joe doesn't do that. But otherwise, I'm not someone special. I don't feel special. I don't feel outside of the mold or anything. Um, when I was like in early 20s, I think it was like 18, 19. Um, my dad at some point was like, dude, you're not special. You're literally nothing in this world. And unless you actually try and prove yourself and make something out of yourself, you're literally never going to be anything. So fucking do it. And as painful as that might sound, as someone, just getting out of school and failing at pretty much every single kind of education he's ever had, um, it also gave me a very strong reality check on, like, yeah, I am nothing. I don't amount to anything. I mean, I don't make any money right now. Um I never learned how to work, and um and yeah, I'm nobody. And how do we fix that?
Yeah.
And um for one, I finished trade school way back in the day. Well, only like 6 years ago. Um and I started drawing more and more, of course, and in 2018, with pretty heavy PTSD from working in construction, um, I decided to give up on it and start leading the life I wanted to, and here we are.
And I want to get back to our chat real, or our people watching. You've got quite a few people here who are
Awesome.
they're just as curious about Mike Jimmy as I was. Marv says basically the truth, and he's going back to what we were talking about in terms of, the not what we do or don't do in our work. Yeah. And then he said, wow, how you come up with this question. So that particular question had a lot to do with the Van Bates quote, Marv, that I threw up there. That Van Bates quote is what inspired that question. And and just for anyone watching, I'm a writer. So I'm not just one thing. No offense to anyone listening, but a lot of people, Mike Jimmy, only know me as a painter, or they only know me as this flirty blonde who comes on a street.
Well,
Not everyone, like Mike Jimmy and some of my other close friends, guys or girls, have really ever taken the time to get to know me because they want to. Crimson Owl says, great questions. Thank you, Crimson Owl.
Yeah, they are. They are.
And Marv says, I'd love to be on your show someday. Oh, I'm going to totally make that happen. Phil and Mike, or Phil's here. He says, hello.
Hey.
Phil is another creator, and Phil, I'm not going to throw you under the bus right now, but I'm fairly certain he has a message from me. Phil knows, or Phil should know, there's a message for me. If you don't know that, Phil, go look at your messages. Okay, so then my next thing I'm gonna go to. So you got through that round like a star, which I had no shocker. That's no shock to me, you guys. So this last portion before we switch to paint with the master, these are words. They're called rapid fire words. These are words that I pull out of my brain when I close my eyes and I think of Mike Jimmy, and I can't. Other than telling you that I'm a little nuts and a loon, I don't know how to explain why these words came to me when I decided to do Mike Jimmy's words. But these rapid fire words are strictly Mike Jimmy inspired. These are not words I gave to any of my other guests. Okay? So I'm going to throw the word up and you're going to give me you're going to go with it. You're going to give me maybe a 1-sentence answer, 1-word answer, or tell me to fuck off, whatever you want. So what does the word adventure do for you?
A lot. I love adventure, and my entire life is an adventure. You gotta just go for it, and whether it's the adventure of starting as a freelancer, or taking a bloody cycling trip from the top of the Netherlands to the south. You got to take it. It's there for the grabbing. You just gotta make the adventure happen yourself. And in my stories, it's the same deal. Like, I'll get obsessed over something and I'll do it. And especially in Marvin Crimson 2, a lot of that is reflected. I don't know if you've read that one yet, but
yeah, tell me real quick. How far did you go on this trip? Like, how much of that was there?
There was about 300 miles in total.
Okay.
And that's about the entire eastern border of the Netherlands.
Wow. That's so cool. I mean, that's just so cool. Okay, so real quick, the questions here. We got Crimson Owl, who said he just subbed to Mike on Instagram.
Oh, thank you.
Phil replied, got my message, rad. Your next word that I have for you, Mike Jimmy inspired, is lurking.
I actually don't lurk much. I really like to.
Hold on. Woo! Yes, Clay. Do you hear that, everyone? I interrupted him because Mike doesn't lurk. He's in a stream and he comments. Thank you.
I don't like lurking at all. Like, it's horrible. Show me what you got, and talk to me. That's what I'm here for too.
Right? Well, oh my God. I love. I love that, you not only are that kind, authentic is a word that I would describe you as, person, as a friend, for sure. Reliability, you bet. Phil says, I try to lurk, but I can't.
Just failed.
But I can't help but open my mouth. I am the same way. Oh my God. It is so hard for me to I'm gonna admit I have lurked. I 100% have lurked on one particular person's streams. But even so, I eventually will say something. I can't help it. So your next word is honeybees.
Honeybees. I
Okay.
got nothing about that. I would not know what to answer to that.
Okay. Well, there's honeybees as the bees, and then there's honeybees as that people use. But the next word for you is mercury.
You mean like poisoning?
It could be mercury. It could be poisoning. It could be Freddie Mercury. It could be the planet. Mercury's a lot.
I mean, I used to drink from a pewter cup until I realized that my insanity levels were rising really badly because coffee from a pewter cup means that I get lead poisoning.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Are those kind of cups something you guys use in your country?
No, I'm just a very big fan of tankards, and I have a collection of those.
Okay.
Don't drink hot things in pewter.
Okay. So Crimson Owl says, yeah, another tapas creator. I'll go check your stuff out, Mike.
Oh yeah, no, I'm on tapas. It's not that active, but yeah, I'm there. Faeries and Ents.
Marv says I can't. He goes, can't answer it. I don't know what means lurking. He doesn't know what lurking means. Trust me, Marv. You're not lurking. You're commenting.
Lurking means that you're just hanging around, not saying anything, just hiding in the shadows.
Ooh. God of Speed is Mercury. He's saying God of Speed. Is that Mercury? Is that one of the terms for one of the things for Mercury?
Maybe.
God of Speed.
No clue.
Philman says honeybees reminds him of steam-powered Giraffe. I love that band, Phil. I that's one of my favorite bands, is Steam-Powered Giraffe. Have you ever heard?
They're good.
That's so. I love. They're from San Diego. For you guys, if you know Steam-Powered Giraffe, do you know that they're from San Diego? I've met every single one of. Now the kids, Rabbit and Spine for sure. I know for sure. Like I've met them, I've hung out with them. I used to go to their shows a lot. I used to bring my kids. I think they have new people in the band that I haven't met because they moved away from San Diego. But I love that song. Honeybee is one of my favorites. Kudos is your next and last word.
Well,
you know what kudos means?
Kudos if you keep working. And we have been joined by a little Missy.
Hello, baby girl.
This is my little Shelby. She is my Squeaky.
Yeah, Phil says they kind of cycle through players. Yeah, I think they've had a few circumstances. I used to follow them way more closely than I do currently, but I still keep in touch with the music for sure. Hot on a Trail, Phil, I don't know if either of you know that song, but my favorite is Hot on a Trail. It's all Spine who's singing. Not that I adore Rabbit's voice, but Hot on a Trail, if you haven't heard it yet, I want to say, I can't remember what album it's on, but anyway. Okay, so that's it for those. And then Marv V says, Honeybee, Beyonce's ass. This is what we get from Marv.
Marv, do we have to tell us something?
So, are you done with the word kudos?
Yeah, no, just kudos. Keep working.
Okay. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna hope to God that this works. Let me. That's so crazy. How the hell do I get me out of there? I don't want. I'm like, is there a way for me to be out of the stream? Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I figured it out, Mike. There we go.
Works.
That's what I want. Okay. All right. So this is the part where I get to enjoy getting to do some work alongside of Mike. And he knows this because he was on a stream the other night when I was talking about it. But I went the other day and I invested in. I was gonna get ink, like similar to what you guys are probably what you guys use, but I couldn't really find anything that just talked to me or whatever. But I did find watercolor ink. So,
Oh yeah, like the eco line or.
and it's basically what it is. It's similar. I mean, it's watercolor. So the thing I think is probably the best way to describe it, and I'm using a crappy camera to show mine. Not that showing mine really matters, because as long as we see Mike's, we're good. Um, but what I do like about it, what I did like about it, and what I'm noticing is that it's basically like using watercolors the same way I would normally use my watercolors. However, it oh, I'm missing something. I've lost my complete train of thought.
It's a little darker as a standard, isn't it?
It is a little darker, but it's like when I use watercolors. So when I'm using just regular watercolors, um, if I add a lot of water to the black, I can create what I'm using. Basically, is what I'm getting at. Like I can create
Yeah,
this, but I have to basically mix it myself. I have to take the
yeah.
watercolor. Yeah. Now I honestly I haven't looked it up. There might be something in here other than water. There might be more in here. I have no idea. Um, but I just realized I don't have the light on the art. I'm like I can't see. I am blind. Do you put a light facing like onto your artwork when you do what you do?
Yep.
Okay. I do too. I can't like sometimes the one of the only things that's frustrating about this whole process of doing stuff back on paper like this for me has been the lighting and the fact that I've gotten older I switched to canvas painting years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I get back to doing all these illustrations and I'm working on that book and stuff, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, fuck, this working on paper thing, like I didn't realize how detrimental to this process it was for my vision to be this old 51-year-old woman's vision. I had to get a stronger level of reading glasses than what I was normally
Mm-hmm.
using. I had to I luckily had bought this light for other purposes, and it's technically really probably not really meant for what I'm using it for, but it's so far it's working. But that's been one of the hardest parts about it. So you guys out there who are watching, we are now doing the paint alongside the masters. Now, um, I'm not going. I'm going to try not to sound egotistical. I do know how to paint, you guys. It's not like I'm not an artist. 100% not even close to some of the skill set or skill levels as the masters I'm having on here. So, but this is cool for me because I get to have that posterity moment. I painted alongside Mike Jimmy. This is a big
Well,
deal for me, you guys.
honestly, I wouldn't call myself a master at all either. Um, like I'm on my 11th publication, of which I drew 6, and honestly, I'm far from done.
You do know, you saw my quote on, I'm pretty sure you saw my quote on Twitter about what makes a master, right?
Doing it a lot,
Well,
essentially.
doing, no, for me, and it wasn't a quote I took from anywhere, and this is just my personal own opinion. And yes, it's going to be based on people. No offense to anyone. It's going to be based on like Yoda and what's the other guy, Mr. Miyagi, or anyone out there. And this is just my own personal opinion. A master of something is someone who not only can do what you do, but they also are willing to share it and teach someone else and give it to someone else with that, and they don't expect anything in return. They aren't necessarily asking for money. I think that being a teacher is part of being a master, and that's definitely something I've gotten from you long before today, that you've got that willingness to impart your information, your wisdom to other people.
Um, Partially, yes.
Okay.
Um, but also very much no, because someone who calls themselves a master but cannot master their craft is not
Yeah.
a master. He's giving out misinformation and trying to
Mhm.
get money from it,
Yeah.
and don't do that. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you can be decent at something, but a master usually spends his whole life getting this done. And there are young masters,
Mm.
and there are very good young masters, but
Mhm.
they usually spend nearly an obsessive amount of work on getting better, you know? And
And isn't there something about like all masters, they're masters, the ones that in the
some of them,
sense of what is probably the normal description of a master, aren't those the guys who have had failure after failure after failure? Because don't you have to kind of, I don't think that anyone could really reach a master level if they haven't had failure.
oh no, fail hard, fail fast, fail a lot. Seriously.
Right?
Constantly fail, you
Yeah.
know? Don't don't let it get you down. If you failed, it means that you learned something from it and you can do it better next time. By all means. I failed so many times the last 4 years that I stopped counting.
Hmm.
I failed really hard only a couple of days ago with
Yeah.
one with Laupencora 4. Like, yeah, you failed. This is what happens. Deal with it. Allow to make allow yourself to make mistakes and enjoy the freedom of it.
Right. Well, and I don't know if this is a term you guys use or if you know, but like you were talking about self love earlier, as a the self love versus narcissism thing. Do you? I would assume you know what self forgiveness is.
Yeah, totally.
Do you find it difficult to do that for your, like, how quickly are you forgiving of yourself? How quickly do you put the bat down with Jimmy, with Mike Jimmy?
Um,
Is
Usually
that a
pretty
hard thing?
quickly because I know I'm only human after all, and even though there's a lot of responsibility on my shoulders regarding my company and the people that I work with, they know I'm only human after all as well. And, you know, I will um, admit my own mistakes as much as I will someone else's, and that usually gives a lot of respect from the people I work with because, yeah,
Right.
I made a mistake, I'm going to have to fix it. If you made a mistake, then yeah, you have to fix it as well, you know?
Yeah. Well, owning your mistakes, that's a big part of it. I know, like, if I try to stay in some kind of denial, or if I try to play it off, or if I try to hide it, or any of that stuff, not it takes whatever the problem is, and it just amplifies it, and
Exactly.
oh my god. And that just it's not, I don't want to go so far to just say waste of time, which is kind of a cheesy way of whatever, but it's legitimate. The emotionalism of going through, dealing with, like,
Yeah,
not just getting over it. I have a hard time staying in an emotion for a long time, because if it feels like a waste of time for me to feel or be in that,
yeah.
whatever that emotion is, I will do what I need to do to get out of it, because I don't have that kind of time. I got shit to do, man.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I have a deadline. I have to bloody
I
get it.
got
You know,
other important
this
things
page
to
so far, I hate it. It sucks. I am not okay with it. I don't like the quality I'm putting down, but I'm already late in my deadline. So I'm gonna fucking finish it. I got one more page after this that I'm only halfway done penciling, you
do.
know?
Hmm.
And yeah, that's a failure on my end because the deadline was 2 weeks ago. I was
Right.
granted more time, but it doesn't mean that there was no deadline, you
Right.
know?
And
And
that
it gives
is
consequence.
consequences. That word. Sorry, I interrupted you for a second, but then you said the consequence. That's a big one, right? Like, do you ever feel like the consequence of something that you've done some at some point is why you are as kind as you are to people, or as genuine as you are? Like, how, I'm assuming, like, you probably had that happen where you just are not willing to pay the consequences of being an asshole. If that
Um,
makes sense, what I'm saying.
Not to me personally, rather people in my life that well, were assholes to me instead,
Yeah.
and me just going, "Fuck you, I'm not gonna be like that." But yeah, I've been an asshole. I'll happily admit it. I'm a bloody rotten bastard. But that doesn't mean that everyone deserves to get to get that. You know?
Yeah. I don't know what made me ask that question when you said probably because of the word consequences. Because I know you were talking about work, but when I think of consequences, I always think of what it's gonna, like for me, I always think about how it goes with other people. But I get what you're saying, like the consequences of being late. But are you really also maybe just being a little too hard on yourself? Maybe the page is perfectly fine, but because you're late, is your head telling you that it's not?
Oh no, no, no! It's far below the quality that I set out to do for this comic.
Okay. I can relate to that. Like I know when I got started with this haiku series, um I kind of had this come to what's it called? Raising Helen, come to Jesus moment. I literally was about ready to lose my mind. I hadn't worked on paper in forever. Um all of any confidence I had ever had went right out the window. Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it was kind of like, I'm like, wait a minute, I know how to do this. I've done work this way. What's wrong with me? And I don't know, I don't remember if you were on that particular painting stream, but what I did is I come on, this was a while back when I was working on that book, but I pulled out my charcoals because when I did work on paper ages ago, my medium of choice was charcoals. And so I'm like, all right. And I don't know, it just came to me one day. So I get on there and I start working on this piece and I start doing it with the charcoals. And Mike, it was like I had never left paper art. I'd never left working like
Well,
that. It came back to
char-
me.
I'm gonna be honest. Charcoal is a wonderful medium for people that just want to get into traditional art in the first place. It's
Hmm.
very forgiving. It's very nice. It's easy to work with.
Yes.
It
Yes.
doesn't mean that you will instantly make something beautiful, but it is very forgiving, and it does allow you to make mistakes and adjust them very quickly. You know, I'll use charcoal once in a while. It's awesome stuff.
Oh
But
yeah, and I don't like calling what I do in my art a mistake.
no, no,
I like what Bob Ross says. They're happy mistakes, or they're like I.
they're
It's
happy
so.
little accidents.
What was something Marv said earlier about his character? So I 100% will tell, I don't care how this sounds. The paper sometimes will tell me where to put the ink, or it's like it speaks to me. I kid you not.
Yeah.
Um, I sometimes have no part in what comes out of it, really. Especially like this girl, she was a practice piece that I started solely to practice on a silhouette, to do a silhouette. It was a part of a self subscribed kind of let's get better at art thing that I was
Hmm.
doing, and she's not the silhouette in regard like the way that the practice piece tells you to be. Like I gave her features, you can actually see her face in the practice piece. It's just meant to be the outline, this black dark outline of a woman's shape. And of course, me being me, because I know you know me, but me being me, this is what comes from it. I was like, well, okay. Marv says, I'm all about pencils, not paint. Yeah. And
Yeah.
well, that's the other thing. So not only is this girl that I'm currently working on, not only did she come out of me part of it as a practice piece, she also I actually put charcoal down with her, and then I used a little bit of pencil. The piece you're looking at that I'm working alongside Jimmy with, I don't plan on putting any color to this because, and Marv, you'll appreciate this. One of my other self I do this a lot to myself. I give myself assignments because I'm an overachiever and I want to be better at my art, and that's why this show was it was inspired a lot by Peter Palmiotti because he is a master in my opinion, just like you guys. And he invited me on his show to paint alongside him, which was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
humbling. That's
cool.
pretty humbling. When one of the guys, when one that's the premise. And his show's not about finding someone who isn't his level. He wants you to draw alongside him. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm drawing alongside these guys. I didn't even know who this guy was. I didn't even know who this guy was, and then now I know who he is, and I'm like, holy shit. It's kind of like when I got to paint alongside Rich, or when I got to paint alongside uh, Tim Laddie.
Oh
It,
wait, I'm out of
it
focus.
kind
Sorry,
of
guys.
oh yeah, that happens with my camera too sometimes.
Yeah, I derped.
It just gets me. So I forgot what I was even gonna. What I was. Oh, so this girl, she just So she just came out of the paper. I didn't have anything to do with her. She sometimes it's a shadow. Sometimes it's the way the light hits the paper. When I'm on canvas, sometimes most of the time I have an idea or a plan of what I'm gonna do. Um, but once in a while, I literally will just take a blank white canvas. Have you ever seen? Do they have these in your country? We used to have these. You'd go to the mall, and there were these prints where if you squinted or if you looked at them long enough, you'd see a 3D image come out of it. Did they have those there?
Yeah, they're are kind of out of style now, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So sometimes for me, if I don't have anything in mind for what I'm about to paint or what I'm about to sketch, I will do like this little like squinty thing with my eyes
Hmm.
at the blank white canvas, and something will come to me. I don't know where it comes from or if it's just a play of tricks of light and color or whatever, but it just comes to me, something like that, it'll just happen. So,
I really wish I still had that because I don't. I used to, as a little kid, but that is the childish wonder that personally I completely lost.
hmm.
You know, I have complete aphantasia. When I close my eyes, it's black.
Oh, okay.
You know, so there's nothing in my imagination when it comes down to it. That's why I need writers. Like I cannot think up story ideas on my own,
Yeah. Okay.
and I appreciate them for it because it's their craft combined with mine, and that is first of all awesome because you can work with on together with other people, but it also um, it means that I will always be relying on someone else. And
Hmm.
there have been story ideas that I thought up, like Sage's Sunset, which was the very first comic that I ever did.
Right. Okay.
Um, and for you, Salazar Art Nation, since you actually shared my
Tapas.
tapas,
Ah,
there's
I
over 100 pages in there.
my mod. It's so cool. He has. Yeah, this is. I think you sent me this too, and I have it saved. And I've been looking at Tapas, and I looked at this quite a bit, and I hope. I wanted to touch on something you said real quick before you continue, Mike. So
Mhm.
I hope I don't make you lose your train of thought. But um, the coming up or not coming up with ideas of your own and stuff, and it's just a question. It's a query for me as
Yeah,
because I'm curious. Do you feel that maybe that's been affected by doing sequential type creations?
no, because I had no idea what to draw for ages already,
Okay.
and
Okay. Because you
I
still
I
use that creativity for the paint, even though you have someone else writing it. Don't you still have to come up and with the images?
yeah, I do, but a lot of it is having drawn um a ton of different things all my life.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
the point where I can combine and adjust my art to what is needed on the canvas. But
Yeah. Salazar says hi, Mike Jimmy. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
you're glad to have you. But yeah, no, it's again just doing it something so often and so continuously
Mm.
that it becomes second nature. But for the most part, yeah, I my
No,
old art
that's
is pretty
exactly
much
what I
just doing the
mean.
same thing over and over again.
Okay. That's what I actually mean was like, so the reason I was asking that is because I know you know some of my journey and some of the things I'm doing is that I I had been doing canvas, I had switched to canvas, I'd been doing it again for so long that when I
Mhm.
started this project, like I was just sharing, I had struggles and it like to this point of almost making me insane that because of it.
Yeah,
And I recognized that part of it was not that I lost anything. It had nothing to do with losing a fucking thing. It had everything to do with the fact that my head, arms, hands, and everything had been innately trained and had been doing it the other way for so long. And
yeah.
I just had to reconnect to the old connection I had on paper as opposed to canvas. That's all. That's why I was curious. If maybe it's not really that you've lost it. I don't think you've lost anything, really. I really don't. I really don't.
No,
That's my theory is that you haven't lost a thing. I think that maybe it's some of the process of the way you do stuff, maybe, but no.
to a point, yes, because I dream vividly, I dream actively.
Mm,
But on the other hand,
right.
when I wake up, it's no longer in my head. You know, I
Yeah.
can imagine things being on paper with my eyes open, but not so much with my eyes closed. I can't imagine it when I close my eyes. It's just black there. Doesn't mean I
Right.
don't have an imagination at all. It just means that I can visualize it.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you said we had a pretty firm hard stop. Are you getting to that point? Are you wanting to? I know you have plans.
Um,
There's things you've got to do. How are
yeah,
you on?
no, my grandma should pick me up like any second now.
Okay.
So
Right. Do you want to? Why don't you give everyone, give everyone what's going on with you? I know you just got some stuff in. You want to take this time to.
yeah, definitely.
Do you have anything you want to show on your screen? Do you want to share a different screen?
Oh,
What do you want?
no, 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 I got it right here.
All right. Well, I'm going to put you back in solo layout, and you do your thing, man. Like let's give everyone some more yummy Mike Jimmy
All
before
right,
we.
everyone. Live on Cora issue 4 is done. It is ready. It is almost ready to go out. I'm missing one more stretch goal goodie, and otherwise it's all just ready to go. And these two covers are completely exclusive to the Indiegogo. So once we go out of in demand,
Okay.
these two are going to disappear and they're never going to be reprinted again. So if you want one of these, you'll have to be quick.
And tell us the one isn't one of those Rich Paradas?
Yeah, no, this is Rich. This is by Rich. And
Okay.
then this one is by Nina Daisy Eberlein, who is another wonderful friend of mine who just does wonderful work.
So the one of Rich's is in you can not only is it the variant cover, but it's in black and white.
Yeah, I kept it in black and white because his work is just so amazing and so
Yeah, yeah.
powerful in its simple strokes. And Rich and I work in um, such um, same-ish media when it comes
Uh-huh.
to inking
Right.
that like it it makes me happy to look at this because
Well,
it's so you can see that he has like 20 years of experience in inking over me.
right. Well, it struck me, and why I wanted you to go back to it was what we were just saying. And I know, like, I was telling you like how I'm trying to at least do one piece and get it successfully completed without any color, because I always want to color everything I do. I'm trying, and it's funny because this piece I'm actually working on is the one that I plan on not painting her. Okay, continue.
So yeah, we got 4 issues in the series so far.
Nice.
And super proud of this one. It looks beautiful. Yeah, every page is traditionally inked, so if you want one of the original pages, you can back that tier on Indiegogo as well. And we are going to fulfill in about 2 weeks. So yeah, we're pretty much ready to go.
That's excellent. That is super exciting. And I'm fairly certain I dropped all of the links, and I forgive me if I didn't drop the Indiegogo one.
That's okay.
But I do know it's on your page. I know that it is. That part I do know. So even
And
for
I'm going
anyone,
to
oh, go ahead.
share my screen real quick.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I will do.
Radiant Side. Because today we launched
Ooh.
the pre-launch page for the Radiant Sites by
Oh, okay.
the
I got it.
creator, the writer for Life on Korra 3,
Okay.
and let me find
This
it.
is the one with the girl in the mirror, right? The one I saw.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Let me see. Pre-launch page.
Hi.
So, guys, this is a Korean drama focusing on a girl from the slums who finds a magical dress that makes her irresistible, and it makes her move up in society with it, but also bring up society as a whole with it.
Nice.
And yeah, she's really trying to make this kind of difference. There we go.
Crimson Owl said, sweet. Okay. Oh, good. Okay, let me copy this. And for those of you, please tell me I didn't just leave the stream.
No, you're still here. You're still here.
I'm like, it opened it. I meant to hit copy and I hit open. Duh. Okay, so I am pasting this is his pre-launch Indiegogo, and let me hit share, add to stream. All right.
There we go. So this is by the writer for Life on Korra 3. If you remember, those are the hive mind sentient rock people. And yeah, if you sign up, you can get 25% off on your own copy.
Nice.
So it's beautifully drawn by a new artist that we hired. It's very much a manga style, and it's a really, really awesome story, and it takes the typical Korean drama setting of putting two completely different walks of life people, and putting them together. And now I really have to go because my grandma is calling. So sorry, guys. Stay awesome. I'll talk to you guys later.
You're absolutely great. You're absolutely fine. Mwah. Oh, that was so exciting. So you have just, for those of you that are still here, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your comments and for being with us today. That is super exciting. Next Saturday, I am going to have Matt Barr on with me, and the Spotlighting the Masters playlist is on my YouTube. And let me go to comments real quick, make sure I don't miss anybody before I leave. Okay, so yes, we've got this. Crimson Owl said, sweet. Salazar Art Nation says, Dori, you're at 100 subs. Woo! Oh, that's exciting. Thanks. It's so great news. You know, I'm sure have a hand in quite a few of those subs being there. Salazar also had shared the Indiegogo link. Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm not shocked that you were on that and shared it. Salazar, you say, bye, Mike, Jimmy. So that is, oh, what an amazing day. What a great way to start off my Saturdays. I'm so excited that Peter Palmiotti gave me the inspiration to do this show. Marv says, loved it. Take care. See you soon. I will make sure to get in touch with you, Marv, about a Saturday in September. I am trying to book up my Saturdays. Then let's see. One last thing. Let's go here. Yep. Okay. Oh, no, it's in this one. I'm going to find my video for you guys. All right. So that's everything I got today, everyone. Mike had to go, which was, I knew we had a hard stop when his grandma got there. So once again, thank you so much for joining and thank you for being here. And everyone, have a wonderful Saturday. And remember today, you are loved and that you matter. Mwah!